I'm in San Antonio for REITs REITwise, our 2019 Law, Accounting, and Finance Conference. Joining me today is Howard Sider, Assistant Vice President with Arch Insurance Group, and Tim Crowley, First Vice President with Crystal & Company. Howard, Tim, thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Now, can you start by providing an overview of the REIT D&O program and its history?
Sure. Crystal & Company, a division of Alliant Insurance, has been partnering with REIT and its membership for nearly 30 years and has put together a comprehensive program to uniquely respond to the exposures facing REIT companies in today's equity marketplace.
And Howard, I understand that 2018 securities class action litigation trends were fairly consistent with what we saw in 2017. Could you walk us through some of those high-level statistics?
Thanks, Matt. Across the public company D&O landscape, the theme in 2018 was really consistency with the litigation trends that we saw in 2017. In 2017, we saw 412 total securities class actions, and removing M&A litigation, there were 214 of what we would call core securities class actions, which was a 52% and 15% increase, respectively, over 2016, and both of those were record highs. In 2018, the litigation pace was really in line with what we saw in 2017, with 403 total securities class action lawsuits representing about a 2% decrease year over year, and 221 core securities class actions representing a 3.3% increase year over year. And some of the key drivers of this litigation frequency over the past few years have been emerging law firms and event-driven litigation. And then specific to the REIT space, after a one-year blip in 2016 where we saw 6 core securities class actions, we've returned to the historical average of between 1 and 3 per year. The frequency trend can be a little bit more difficult to analyze in the REIT space because of the smaller sample size, where you have roughly 200 publicly traded REITs versus approximately 4,400 publicly traded companies. But one of the notable trends in the REIT space has really been an increase in the severity or the settlement size for securities class action claims over the last 24 months.
And Howard, other than securities class action, can you talk about the specific types of claims you're seeing against REITs these days?
Sure. There are a few areas outside of traditional securities class actions where we still see a significant amount of REIT activity. First, we continue to see a significant amount of REIT M&A litigation. These lawsuits these days are almost exclusively brought in federal court, but we're seeing them resolved substantially similarly to those that were previously brought in state court. And one area that we're seeing across the broader public company space are more of these lawsuits surviving the closing of a transaction, which can make them difficult and potentially more expensive to settle. And while this isn't something we've seen in the REIT space to this point, it's something we're keeping an eye out for in 2019. Another area where we continue to see activity is with regards to shareholder derivative demand letters. Initially, this was really focused on executive compensation. Over the last year, we've begun to see some more demand letters focusing on other items, including fraud, mismanagement, and self-dealing. And finally, activist investor activity in the REIT space remains high. Since the REIT GIT code was formed in 2016, there's been a significantly elevated level of activist investor campaign in the REIT space, focused on a variety of asset classes, but primarily on retail, office, and hotel. And while there hasn't been too many significant cases where D&O litigation came directly out of an activist investor campaign, activist investor campaigns bring significantly increased scrutiny from shareholders, regulators, and analysts, which can increase the potential for D&O litigation.
And Tim, in your view, what are some of the key benefits of the D&O policy to REITs members?
So, in light of Howard's comments, we're in a dynamic, somewhat shifting environment facing all publicly traded companies, but including the REIT space. So in that kind of transformative period facing even REITs, what we believe is a core benefit of our program is the unique coverage that we've developed together with REIT and outside counsel to respond to all of these various types of claims activities to make sure the policies work in the way that they are in the event of a claim.
And finally, if a REIT member would like to learn more about the D&O program, what's the best way that they can do that?
So I would turn your attention towards the REIT website. They have the contact information for myself and some of our team members, including Steve Kelly, who's been working on the program for 15 years, and we'll get you in the right hands.
Great. Howard, Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Matt.
Great. Thank you for having us.
For more information on this and other REIT news and analysis, be sure to visit REIT's website, REIT.com.